So look, it's Jornada 18 and the end of 2025. At the beginning of this already long, drawn-out season, I wrote for ESPN FC, "Are Barcelona the only club in the world where you could explain the chaos, acrimony and threats they suffer to a neutral observer and still predict that they're favourites to win 2 or 3 domestic trophies, including La Liga?" Having seen, with you, 17 La Liga Jornadas, I'll stick to that. And I'm glad I didn't predict a European trophy. I'm glad that this weekend it's their city rivals who are in a position to threaten their dominance at the top of La Liga's table, while potentially advancing their own blue and white claims to a Champions League place. Madrid host a Sevilla club for the second consecutive Jornada, and although they won 3 points before the Christmas break, Los Blancos will hope for a touch more defensive solidity against one of La Liga's more thrilling, dynamic sides at a stadium which until recently had been converted into a Christmas winter wonderland theme park. Heaven help us all. The dominant theme for the rest of the Jornada, which like Qatar has Saudi Arabia looming over it menacingly, is who's going to get relegated and how much, a lot I think, will this weekend influence that subject by the end of the season. So, with a huge vote of thanks for being with us, you socios, in 2025, on with the show. The theme of the week is probably Espanyol hosting Barcelona. I was at the return of Luis Figo to the Camp Nou, dressed in the white of Florentino Perez's Galactico project about 25 years ago, and it was an ugly, hypnotic, impactful and historic moment. The game was delayed because of the missiles thrown onto the pitch. The tension and animosity were as big as anything I've witnessed at the football stadium. Figo used a Pepsi can thrown at him to seek out extra dosh from a sponsor. And there was the pig's head thrown, remember it, that briefly threatened to become an Olympic event, tossing the pig's head. And it began a spell when, under the threat of closure of the Camp Nou by security authorities, the then President Joan Laporta, whatever happened to him, decided to take on the hooligan boisterous noise element behind the north goal of the Camp Nou. It was a costly battle, but he won it at some considerable threat to himself and his family. I mention all this because Espanyol, ahead of the derby, have been very, very active these last few days in trying to prevent the return of their ex-goalkeeper Joan Garcia to Cornellà, but in Barcelona colours, becoming anything like that Figo experience, and kudos to them for that. I've got no particular fondness for Figo the person, albeit he was a mighty footballer and was perfectly entitled to choose to leave for Madrid, in my opinion. But he went through a lot that day, and while he, as a man and a footballer, emerged unscathed and with a point and a 0-0 draw, things could have gone much, much worse than they did. Somebody, not only him, could have been seriously injured, given that what was being thrown, cigarette lighters, bicycle chain, bottles, etc., well, could have gone badly. Joan Garcia is a wholly different kind of guy. He in no way betrayed Espanyol, and he's already showing that he was ready for the upgrade in football challenges. The RCDE stadium, meaning Espanyol's fans, are already under a suspended sentence re-closure because of bad behaviour in previous matches. So the fact that the local cops, a handful of Espanyol players and the Association of Espanyol Supporters Group, Peñas, have asked for calm heads, total support for the team and no actions which could mortgage the entire remainder of the season, these are all indications that there are 2 states of mind right now: tension and preparation. For your delectation, I think Espanyol, not really missing any hugely important footballers, will line up Dimitrovic, El Hilali, Calero, Cabrera, Romero, Urco and Edu Exposito in midfield, Mia, Paul Lozano and Tyrese Dolan, and either Kike Garcia or Roberto Fernandez up front. Brief notes: I hope that Puado plays some part. He's a difference maker for them when fully fit. Mia is a red card risk. Dolan isn't yet consistent, but he's a wee devil of a trickster on his game. And Romero's their best player, still only on loan from Villarreal. Change that situation, Espanyol. And I deeply hope it's the warhorse, Kike Garcia up front. What a joy to watch he is when he's tricking, tormenting and trying to outthink central defenders. I'll be working in Madrid that day, but there will be a Revista de la Liga live right here for socios on the whistle for a match which I think will test Barcelona's 4-point gap at the top of the table. Some stats: The last time Espanyol beat Barcelona in La Liga, it was at Camp Nou, one of Mauricio Pochettino's first matches in charge. Pep Guardiola en route to the treble. The last time Los Pericos beat Barcelona at home, it was January 2007 in the league, with fantastic players like Dani Jarque, Raúl Tomudo, Ivan de la Peña, Luis Garcia and Walter El Rifle Pandiani in their ranks. Ernesto Valverde, the coach. But the last home win for Espanyol in this fixture was actually in the Copa del Rey. It's about the 8th anniversary of that, and who the hell knows? Maybe this time? Barcelona likely to line up Joan Garcia, Koundé, Cubarsí, Gerard Martin, Balde, Pedri, Eric Garcia, Lamine Yamal, Fermin, Rafinha and Ferran Torres. See you for that one on Sunday night. Listen, this is my pitch. We need supporters, we need you to pay up, and we need you to join for £3.99 a month, or to pay from now until the end of the season after the World Cup, where Pete Jensen, the mighty Jamie Easton and I will cover everything: La Liga, the Copa, the Conference, the Europa League, the Supercopa, the finale of the league. It'll all be here building up to World Cup coverage. If you want to support us, please do. We need you. Tell everybody. Spread the word if you're enjoying this. Get behind Revista de la Liga. The description of how to do that is up there in the intro.